Hey everyone, a Frisch perspective here with the Layman Apologist and guest pastor again, Colton Yarbro, also well known as a NKJV supremacist, and
Yeah.
uh, and I don't know how else to introduce you. I mean, you're also the
The
premier
man pastor.
Jonathan Edwards Study Bible reviewer.
Apparently so.
The sole reviewer of that Bible at this point, because you
Yes.
somehow managed to get a copy before anyone else in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. We were just talking about that before we started the stream. Literally got an email from the guys at Thomas Nelson asking, "Hey, thanks for your review. How did you get that? It's not even hit our factory yet." And the truth is,
The
I don't know.
actual
Yeah.
guy who sends out review copies asked you,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes. And that's the funny thing is, it came from them. Like that's what was on the post.
Obviously.
So I
There
don't
isn't
know.
some secret, like, reformed black market uh, Bible warehouse or something going on there.
I, not that I'm aware
Not that
of.
you're aware of.
If there is, sign me up, I guess.
Well, you're already being given a nickname here. Tony said, "Hey, it's the Coltonator,"
The Coltonator.
which is great because you are our manly pastor guest for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
then
mean,
you guys are in
look
trouble.
at this.
Yeah. That's right.
That's proof. And then we've got Layman over there who's just recently been bulking up, and
Well, I've
his
been bulking
chest
for the
now is
past
65 inches. I think he said.
65? No.
I exaggerated a
I was
little.
going to say that would be inhuman.
Close. Okay, it's in the 40s. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the 40s, which is nice in a sense, but like I don't want to be walking around at that size for long. So I bulked up dirty bulk for weight process or progress, I should say. So now comes the very painful cut. So
Ah, so you actually now is where you're like trying to get that all like more refined. Like it's one thing to bulk up, but then you want to actually
yeah, I
become more
put
lean
on
in a way.
I put on significant muscle, which is good because it I've had a lot of health issues recently, especially to do with my immune. The weight will help me with a lot of that, but like I don't want to be walking around like constantly like I'm not wham, but I'm not a small dude either. But I certainly want to go into a cut now so that I can lose a lot of the actual bulk and be a little bit more defined. So
Right. Okay. Yes. And someone here just said all the manly men with beards. Yeah,
well, we're all three
I'm
bald
the
dudes.
odd man out. I'm the odd man out on the beard. Yeah, I've got the bald part, but not the beard part right now.
Well,
At least you all know I'm capable.
I've took the majority of mine off, so
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It isn't as it's not the full that
It's
you
the
have had in
goatee.
the past. The
yeah,
goatee,
I went back to this because this is how I normally look whenever I get back into my boxing training. Because like I'll be honest, like I sweat a lot from my forehead. I have hyperhidrosis of the forehead, so when I have hair and a beard and I work out, I am like a drowned rat. So to sort of navigate away from a lot of that, I want to make myself a little bit lighter hair wise. So
Yeah, that makes sense. You and Heat are not close
plus, as I
friends.
say, with someone that has like a lot of people get hyperhidrosis in their hands, I don't, but I get it here. Like I can be in a cold room with a fan on, and my forehead will still sweat. Like it's unfortunately just hyperhidrosis.
Well, since we are going to be talking a little later about manliness in the current cultural climate, it's a good time for me to bring up the "Do You Manly" merch that we have on the Layman Apologist web store.
There is an updated version coming.
Oh yeah, great. And we'll post that when that is finalized. Let me put the link to this.
Yeah, in the chat.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you get this, all the proceeds will be going to Tim for his mission trip. So, if you want to support him in that, please do pick up either a bundle, which you will save money on, which is all 3 items, or pick up any item at all, and that way Tim will get the proceeds of that.
Yep, we're leaving for the mission trip in October, trying to get all of our money in by September. So, really appreciate this drive to help us out.
Yep.
And also on the store is a very popular book. We were getting some updates on how well this book is doing, actually. So
Yeah, so there's the ebook. So I was kind of surprised about this. I was sharing it with the guys here, but we're now 186 in Christian education overall, 500 and something in another category, church history. So the book's doing really well. So if you've got it, please do leave a review on Amazon. It really will help. And Colton, you also said you were able to leave a review on Good Books?
Goodreads.
Goodreads.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Goodreads is like Amazon's sort of social media deal for reading.
Awesome. So if anybody does pick it up, please do leave a review because it helps the book long term.
And we've talked about this book before, but just in case anybody is new here or happens to be watching who hasn't watched before, this book is written by the Layman Apologist in the center there of the screen.
Oh,
And the
got a copy.
forward written by that pastor at the bottom of the screen there who's holding up the
Mhm.
book. So we got both of the contributors here. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So yeah, I wanted to mention that. And we're actually going to be talking about another great resource. It's an app online called the Literal Word app. And let me pull up a screen of that. So I'll start with this is the website, and then I'll show the app page. But the website here, you can actually use it on your web browser, and it does still have some good tools. The app, though, is much more extensive. So if you're using on a tablet or phone, then it's really useful. But another claim to fame. I mean, Pastor Colton, it's like you are doing so much right now. You have so much influence. You know, you started posting on Twitter X that you wanted the NKJV to be added to the literal word app because they didn't have it as of a month or so ago, and you started posting that. Like, how many times did you post before they caved?
I can't remember, and let's just be clear. I don't think this was influence as much as it was just begging, and a lot of people tended to agree with me and wanted it as well, so it got reshared a lot.
Yeah.
But I think
that's influence.
Yeah, I think I made it to like day 12 or 13 or something like that. I can't remember.
I think it's up there, yeah.
Really good.
But after a certain point, they essentially just finally posted and said, "Hey, we're working on it," which I did honestly didn't expect. I figured I would just be like a fly on the wall, getting ignored. But it was I'm happy.
Yeah,
it
I mean, I think your tactic was brilliant because it was giving them good advertisement anyway.
Yeah.
But it makes so much sense. You know, look at the versions they have: NASB 95, LSB, ESV, and then they had the KJV, but not the NKJV. But the NKJV is known for being one of those in this
More
same
literal,
type of version. Yeah, like it makes total sense. So,
well, and a big shout out to them. I mean,
yeah,
this really is one of in my opinion, the nicest app visually in the app world. And it includes the Greek lexicon, Hebrew lexicon stuff built in, which is incredible. And it is entirely free, which is just such a blessing to so many people. So I can't sing their praises enough, honestly. Really great app.
Plus, they have dark mode, so they won me over a long time ago. But the app, I honestly find I don't use the web version as much because I'll be honest, I find it more limited compared to the app. But it's still good to have it on the web.
Yes, yeah.
This shows you, screenshots of the features, and I was really impressed because the NKJV not only did they implement the version very quickly, but they had all these features already ready to be used for the NKJV.
Yep.
So,
Yes, indeed.
thank you, Colton.
No, thank you, literal word.
That's true.
Yeah.
Both of you. But, yeah.
Also, not to stretch it too much further, but Colton's currently all plastered over Reformation Heritage webpage as well.
Oh, am I still there?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was still there.
To be honest, dude, I think they've left you on just permanently, so...
Oh, no.
I mean, even that gives me another excuse to show this again. Even this Reformation Heritage reposted it.
Yeah.
Right? Because they said great picture.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep reading those books and practicing biblical masculinity. So is that book, I haven't read it. So
Yeah.
how is it?
I just started on it, so I'm not very far in at all. But so far, I mean, just kind of even looking at the table of contents, I really think they did a good job at touching on a lot of topics. But yeah, what I've read so far, I'm just a few chapters in. It's been really good. They start off with, which I think makes perfect sense. The book is called The Redeemed Man, and they start off with just, hey, the first thing you need is the gospel. So that's what's
Makes
presented
sense.
there.
If you're going to be redeemed.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I haven't ventured too far into it yet. But
Okay.
So
you're going to even be more of an expert on masculinity once you've gotten through that book.
We'll see.
So I think Tony was asking about the Literal Word app not having the CSB. Yeah, I doubt they would, Tony. They tend to want the translations that are known for being the most literal, and the CSB is not considered one of those. Sometime I would,
even though it's very good.
I was going to say, sometime I really want to do a breakdown video where I actually give examples, because the CSB is a lot more literal than people give it credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think that's part of the issue too, is because, like, I know no one here will take it this way, but sometimes whenever you say something like that about the CSB, like, oh, it's not the most literal, I think people take that as an attack, as if it's not trustworthy, but all it means is it's just not the most word for word accurate.
Yep.
I wouldn't put that word accurate, because that does sound a little bit like it's inaccurate.
Yeah, but
I hear what you're saying.
A lot of people word it that way, though.
Yeah. I don't think there's any issue of a lack of accuracy.
Yeah.
But in terms of word for word correlation, where you're trying to take words and then, but again, if I gave examples, I can show that sometimes the CSB is more word for words than some of the other translations that are called word for word.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing with that dynamic and formal equivalence thing, right? The CSB is generally known for having more of a dynamic equivalence into it. But every translation, even the NASB, has some dynamic-ish, like, leanings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't, if you want the most, this is another thing that I think is hilarious. I'm just bringing this up. I'm in a group chat with a bunch of guys, and one of them got a LSB recently. And they included that chart with the formal equivalence, dynamic equivalence, sort of the spectrum from, from a, basically a parallel, like a, what's the word? I can't think of the stupid word right now, but to a paraphrase. So, the most literal, what do we call it? I have one behind me. Interlinear. So basically from interlinear to paraphrase. And on their own chart, the Steadfast put the LSB basically in the same area as the interlinear. And I was like, bro, it would be unreadable. Like if it was really that close to being interlinear. I get what they were
I
trying
told
to say.
Layman
but-
last week, I actually did say this on our program, that I was looking at a series of words in Acts, and it ended up that the CSB followed the words, as well as the ESV. The ESV and the CSB both followed the words, used the same word, and surprisingly, the NASB didn't, but even more surprisingly, the LSB didn't. Usually that one tries to take it even further. So it just shows you it depends on the specific verse
Yeah.
and the specific words, but generally the LSB is quite literal,
Quite
but not
literal,
not an interlinear for sure.
No, no.
So back to the book that we were talking about, I'm going to show the advertisement that created a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
And I think is worth talking about on the discussion of masculinity. And I have some things to say about this, and I think you guys do too.
Yeah.
But it was endorsed by Kevin DeYoung, and Reformation Heritage had this ad here. What are you putting into your son's hands this summer? I think is what that says. And then they have a quote from Kevin DeYoung and a picture of him here holding the book. And he says, "This is a really good book. I'm trying to get my older boys to read this over the summer." Now, okay, that's it. You know, it is what it is. But then someone here posted, "This is poor advertisement for a book supposedly about masculinity." And then you have something even kind of more jabbing at this. This person says, "This advertisement makes me want to say something offensive." Which is this is very much giving you like a taste of the kind of thing that we see online all the time.
Yeah.
Just such love and grace and kindness.
Well, and you also have to understand in the context. So that's J. Chase Davis who said that up there.
I don't actually know him.
So he just wrote a book that I finished right before picking this one up.
Oh.
It's called Offensive Christianity.
Oh, well,
And
he's doing well.
And it's on and it is also on masculinity.
Okay.
So he was taking a jab and also kind of promoting his own book a little bit there at the same time.
Okay. Does he have like one of the UFC guys on his advertisement promoting his book?
No, I don't have it. It's way over there, but he has like a dude slaying a dragon on it. So
okay.
there's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's a lot of masculine type stuff right now that's kind of buzzing in the culture. You guys probably know that the He-Man movie has just come out. And then there's the UFC. I wrote down something. The UFC fight in front of the White House. The SBC, as a lot of people have heard, voted to... you would put it in a better way than I would, Colton, because I think people are misunderstanding what they were actually voting for, but they were affirming male pastoral leadership.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been blown way out of proportion in the media, like saying things like SBC's kicking out all the women pastors and all this stuff, and it's like, no, that's a misunderstanding of what's happening. Yeah. The confessional statement of the SBC already is clear that the office of pastor is to be limited to biblically qualified men. It's already clear. The problem is the way these large associations can work, because the SBC is essentially just a large association, very large. And the way they can work is you can have people who will push boundaries there and try and get around it with all kinds of weird things, and all they wanted to do was solidify it in the Constitution that we affirm this, so that the Credentials Committee could say, okay, it's in our Constitution, it's very clear. If there's a church that's practicing their ecclesiology this way, they're not in friendly cooperation with us. That's literally all it was.
I think that's important, because I mean, even this comment here, and if you want to speak to this, he said, speaking of masculinity and culture, Al Mohler's amendment to ban women pastors passed at the annual Southern Baptist Convention last week. has to pass another vote next year to be binding.
Yes, yeah. And it's not a ban. Like, let's be clear. This is a constitutional amendment that makes it clear for the SBC Credentials Committee so that they can just clearly say this church is not in friendly cooperation. Because the confessional statement is one thing, and they're supposed to hold to it, but there's people who just work around it in all sorts of ways. This is just an attempt to say, further solidify what we already supposedly believe. So, but yeah, it still has to get another year approval for it to even become a constitutional amendment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So back to the ad and in this particular discussion that was buzzing on social media. I do have some thoughts on this, and I'm sure you guys do too. I just want to say, like right off the bat, that I think I understand where people are. Even this guy taking a jab, like, look, we get it. As men, I had 2 older brothers. Manliness can be defined in such a way that you can look at some of these external things and say someone is more manly. And yes, I was not the manliest among the men of my family, and am not the manly. I don't consider myself to be this super manly man. I get that. So I actually feel like I can relate to Kevin DeYoung in the way that I come across. Not necessarily like someone who's physically intimidating.
Yeah. I know where you're going with this, but like I would just add in briefly, online is prone to this type of thing. Like it's very easy to dismiss someone based on how they look. Like, if I ran into Kevin DeYoung in a dark alley, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be too intimidated, right?
Right.
But is that the definition of what manliness is? No. Sure, looking scary and bearded and big, that can be an aspect of looking manly. But there's plenty of dudes out there, like I can think of UFC fighters, because you named UFC a moment ago. There's UFC fighters that are physically manly, but yet when you look at how maybe they lead their family or whatever else, I would say those are weak men. They don't have control over their household. They don't lead as a man should lead. Now, Kevin DeYoung's not exactly the most masculine looking dude, fair enough, but he can't help how he looks. Question is though, but is he manly in the truest sense of the word? And I would say, there's not much to say that he's not. So
right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. My friend Bob the Baptist did a video on this whole thing, and what he's talking about, and I think this is important to bring up, is making a distinction between biblical masculinity and performative masculinity. And this is kind of what this is. I mean, let's just be honest. That's what this is. It's performative masculinity. It's, picking at. And to be fair to Chase, he's interacted with Bob since then, and it's been charitable and fun. Like, it's fine. It's a conversation.
yeah,
But one of the things that Bob said in his video that I thought was good is when the performative masculinity is like the whole thing, then basically it's, if all you have is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail. Like that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
And so, and even Bob said, like in this advertisement, even, we know Kevin DeYoung, he's pretty popular. Most people have seen him. Is that the most flattering photograph of Kevin DeYoung? No, not by a long shot. There are much better ones. So like no one's disputing that. But to say that, he's not masculine because he got caught in a bad frame is silly. Yeah.
Also, what really didn't help was the actual layout of the picture. Because of the color of his shirt, I would have went with a darker background and a lighter text. That would have even, like, it's still not going to make him look like He-Man, but he's not going to look, as washed out or, as frail, should we say. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think this is part of the discussion around masculinity right now, and it's not like there's elements to this that are really good. So, for instance, one of the things Davis harps on in his book that I just finished is on the physical fitness of a man. And that's I from skimming the even in this book, from skimming the table of contents, they talk about it in here as well. So I think there is a lack of emphasis on that, and it's good that it's being talked about. We just got to be careful not to talk about it so that we demean our brothers when they may be sensitive to this, because not everyone's going to have the same reaction, right? Some of us who need to be better physically, and I'm certainly one of those people. I'm working at it, man. But some of us respond better to people who mock us, who would do something like this. Some of us take it and go, yeah, I mean, he's right, and, I feel bad, so I'm going to get to work. And that's fine. Other brothers may not take it that way. Other brothers are going to have a harder time, and that doesn't mean they're not masculine. It just means that the way they receive the criticism matters. And so I'll give you an example of a criticism I received from one of the men in my church about my physical health, and one of the things that's encouraged me to go on.
Yep.
This is a dear friend, which makes a difference, right? It makes a difference how well you know someone and how you take it to heart. But we were just hanging out one time, and he looks at me and he goes, "How much do you eat?" Just like that.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, it's a good question. So we started talking about it, and he was like, "Brother, I'm concerned." He's like, I want you to be around, I want you to take care of yourself. And that's where it came from. That's a healthy, good, godly thing, right? Unfortunately, when you transfer that to the internet, it becomes something else.
Yeah.
Lacks relational context.
Yes.
It matters who it comes from. That's why I say X is so prone to. It's not just X, social media in general. Like, Tim, I'm going to send you. I put this picture up myself, Tim. So pull it up just for people. And this is not for me, like, to be boastful or anything, but this is kind of what Colton was talking about as well. I put this picture up a number of months ago, and it was a transformation from how I used to look to how I look now, and I'm even smaller again, praise the Lord. But it was because of good godly men in my life who give me friendly banter to be like, dude, you need to drop the timber, because I was a big boy, and it was impacting my health like really badly.
Yep.
Nowadays, I am a lot more healthier. I can go for long sustained runs with my dog. Looking forward to my cut, all of that. But like, if you once Tim pulls this picture up,
I don't have it. I'm sorry.
I sent it to you in WhatsApp.
Oh, WhatsApp. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry,
I don't have that up right now. That's okay.
That's all right. Well, we can chat.
You like to choose different things. Yeah.
We do. I've got no way of pulling it up here, you see, because it's not my laptop. But the only reason I bring this up is if I was to make a post about manliness and post my first picture, people would look at me and go, yeah, you're not manly. Now, people could look at that right picture and say, yeah, you're still not manly. But there is a massive difference between me on the right and me on the left. Me on the left did not look manly. But did that mean that I wasn't manly in other areas of my life? No. But that's the thing. If the internet would take that, now, I really don't care. People can mock. They can do whatever they want. I'm in far better shape and I'm far happier for it. But that was me. I would honestly say I was like 360 pounds. Like, I don't know what that transfers to you guys, but it was big. Unhealthily big. So like, as I say, if I was to crop out that right image and post a picture and say, hey guys, I'm writing a new book on biblical masculinity, what do you think online would do to me? They would, and I'm not saying this lightly, but they would quote unquote crucify me online.
Right.
So there is an aspect of which your physical appearance does play into it. But it's not the core concept. Like, you can't look at someone and go, because of the way that person looks, they are not manly. Now, if Kevin DeYoung looked the way he looked and he was running around and, and I'm not trying to be demeaning, but, he was very effeminate in the way he moves or he speaks or whatever else, yeah, you might have a bit of a better ground to say the dude's not masculine. I've met Kevin DeYoung in person before. Not for very long. It was at a conference here in Belfast. Nothing about him at all suggests that he was unmanly.
Right.
Like,
Right.
he holds himself like a man. He talks like a man. He can be firm but kind. And I think that's also part of the problem is whenever you get guys like Kevin DeYoung who are maybe a little bit more, what's the word? Not even diplomatic's not the right word, but they're a lot more serene in how they maybe disagree versus, an idiot like me who might get online and sometimes I can be very sharp with my words. People could look at that and go, oh yeah, he's more masculine. No, that could be, you could look at that and go, he's a fool. He can't control his tongue. That would be an indication of someone who's not manly.
Right. Right.
Now, I will say, I think some of the discussion specifically about this is, not it's definitely not coming from a good place and not helpful. But I think some criticisms are fine. It's fine. Even like this ad here. You mentioned something earlier, Layman, about how they could have done a better job with the coloring of it.
Yeah.
I would say too, make sure you get a good picture of the person. And if you're going to be talking, whatever you're talking about, the look of the ad should fit it. Even the quote.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how you guys, but when I read that quote, I just don't think it's the best wording. Like, just say something like, I want my boys to read this. Great. But I'm trying to get my boys. That struck me as funny as a father. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to be like, I'm trying to get my boys to get, I'm telling my boys to read this. That would come across better for the ad.
100%.
There were a lot of people online who pointed that out too.
Yeah.
That the wording of it and all of that stuff.
And not to cut you off, Colton. That's kind of what I meant by sometimes Kevin's a little bit more gentle in how
That's true.
and
in his family, family, that probably is enough for his boys to be like, we're reading it, which is totally fine. But for a public ad, you got to think, how is the audience going to hear this?
Because one of the biggest criticisms that Kevin DeYoung does face is that he doesn't take, quote unquote, firm stances. And Tim, as you rightly said, the trying makes it sound like I'm pleading with my children to read this, and they're not really listening.
Right.
Right.
Which is probably not the case. Yeah.
No.
Right. And that's this is probably just the way a person talks too, and just not, it's just
exactly.
I'm going to try and get my boys to read that.
That's
I
right.
could see myself saying that.
Yes, actually, you're right. When you say it that way, it comes across like, okay, they're going to read it. Whereas when you read it in print, it comes. So that's where an advertiser needs to always do the work of like, okay, let's test this out with a small audience and see if we get any feedback.
Yeah.
And if it's it's coming across the wrong way, then let's change it. So I feel like that's where the bigger criticism I would direct it is just I think things, and hey, I've tried to advertise and I know that I've failed too, come across in a way I didn't intend to. So it's not like I'm criticizing from a place of being perfect myself.
Plus, here's the honest truth too. Even though Tim, you mentioned about maybe testing with a smaller audience size, that's fine, but we often don't realize these things until they are out in the general public that you actually get feedback that you're like, actually, hang on, minus all the cruel criticism, which unfortunately you can't escape on social media, sadly, but. Minus all the cruel criticism, it's only then that sometimes you do get that and go, we could have did a better job with that.
Yeah, but a small audience that is the right audience will make that happen less often.
It would.
So it has to be the right audience. It can't just be people we like who like our stuff. It actually has to be an audience that reflects the general public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that whenever they do, like, this is not Christian related, but I know a lot of my friends that market their stuff. They often put it out to people they know will maybe not give them a favorable
Right.
feedback, so
That,
that then
that
they
makes
go,
sense.
Is
Yep.
there anything in there that's not just a
Yep.
jab at me, but that I could take and be like, oh,
So
yeah,
send it
that
out
doesn't
to
look
the
good.
manosphere if you're doing a ad on masculinity.
Well, no, don't do that.
Just kidding.
No thanks.
Oh dear. So here's another related thing that I don't know if you guys saw this, but it strikes me in a very similar way, and you're gonna kind of you might groan actually if you see who said this. All right, so it's Milo, and he said, "Do you have any designs for men?" And he's referring to Josh Barzon's design for a church.
Hmm.
And so Milo says, "Do you have any designs for men?" So that's very condescending. And then Barzan says, "I'm not following." And he says, "Yes, that's obvious."
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Milo's known for that kind of
Yeah, I know.
stuff,
I know.
even though he's
I know.
yeah, you know what
I know.
he is.
I know. Well, yeah. I do think, I mean, giving him the benefit of the doubt, I think he has left the lifestyle. You're not sure of that.
it's not that I'm not sure. I don't think he's left it. I think he thinks that you can be gay and
No,
conservative.
no. Not to my knowledge. He said that you can't.
Well, unless I've missed something, but as far as I know, he's not. But
Yeah.
No, I'm
Oh.
pretty sure he's left the lifestyle.
interesting. Well,
Yeah.
that would change my criticism of him.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I still think he's being, for someone, well, and I get it. I guess if you've struggled with that, sometimes that actually makes you more harsh against it. And maybe that's a little bit of what's going on here because
Yeah.
he has had that in his life that he's actually like kind of bucking against it and the other, whereas that's
Yep.
not something that I've struggled with. So I just look at designs like this and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, and that's what there's right now. There is a large concern with a lot of these books coming out on masculinity and stuff that the church has become feminized and wanting to take back the masculinity within the church and all that. And I do think there's some truth to that, especially in the bigger sort of evangelical churches. But at the same time, like anything, there's overcorrection.
Yeah.
And sometimes you start, like my friend Bob said, if all you have is a hammer, all you see is a nail, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You look at this design, I don't think this design looks particularly feminine. As a matter of fact, my guess would be that Josh was probably commissioned to do this, and they told him, hey, we want a grapevine sort of thing going on. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
So,
like, normally whenever you follow those things, he's not presenting things. Well, sometimes he is, I'll take that back, but normally with these church ones, they have normally give him a rough guide of what they want. That's why he presents 4 options to get public opinion what looks better.
Well, he got an opinion.
Yeah, you'll always get an opinion online, and that's why, like, I need to control my tongue better, because, like,
Yeah.
there's 2 options I could have went. I could either seen that was Milo and chosen not to respond, or knowing me, I probably would have bit back, which probably is not the wisest thing to do.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking for something here, but
Well,
my
the thing
brain
is,
went blank.
just while you're looking for that, Josh has such a big wide reach now on X that I have noticed that there's a lot more people quote tweeting him now, because it's not necessarily anything to do with Christianity. They just know, okay, I quote tweet this guy, it's got big numbers, I get big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think what I was going to show you is someone gave what they considered a more masculine version of this design. course, it's not. It's wait a second. Let's see if I can find one that is. Yeah, there's plenty of people mocking it. Yeah, someone. But they did it for like with a Catholic church name, but still gives you the idea. So I guess that's more manly.
It's also AI, so no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Josh actually designs his
Josh
work.
actually put the work into it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh dear.
And like, just because, and again, I know this is AI, but like, let's just say someone designed that, right? Just because it's got a black background and it's gold, which are traditionally seen, as more masculine colors. Okay, maybe purple's not the most masculine, right? But whenever you look at the vine and the fruit that Josh was actually showing, like, he can't exactly make it, orange or yellow or, whatever, black, for example. He's not going to have a black fruit tree or vine tree. Just, it's not, it doesn't fit in. So there's all, like, you get this all the time. And, like, this is a very appropriate conversation now, but like even now whenever it comes to like I don't like these in particular, but when people are doing these gender reveals now, I've noticed more and more parents are going, oh, we're going to go with yellow baby clothes because that's a very neutral color, whether it's a boy or a girl or whatever. And we do have certain standards of what we would consider masculine, not masculine. So for example, if I was blessed with a child, we found out it was a boy, yeah, I'm not going to be dressing my boy in a pink baby grow just because someone's saying, oh, don't worry, pink's not really a feminine color. I would look at that and go, well, pink is a feminine color. So there are certain truths we can admit to with that. But this idea that just because this AI depiction is in black and gold, suddenly it's therefore more masculine.
Yep.
I just noticed. I'm just gonna give a shout out here. Say hello to some of you guys know on the Bible groups, Johnny Mack.
Johnny
and
Mack.
I noticed he popped in, and I'm hoping I'll see him because he's up in Canada, as you can see there on his username. And I'm going to be in Canada this weekend.
I wonder what translation he's in Onlyest of right now.
Yeah, let us know, Johnny Mack.
Because that's what he's known for on the Everything Bibles group. Is every week it was, I'm all in on this translation, and then it would change every week.
It's the passion.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Now, he said yes tomorrow, and I don't know if he's talking about revealing which Bible translation or something else. Yeah, maybe. Oh, no. Oh, look at this. He said NASB 2020. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. He would post, like, he would even have, he was one of my favorite follows in the Everything Bibles group because it was just fun. But he would have,
he always got the discussion going, yeah.
Yeah, and he would have, like, a matching tumbler cup that had, like, the translation logo on it. And he would, like, post a picture of his Bible in the cup, and then the next week it's something different.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Oh, I have a pencil cup here. Speaking of that,
Oh,
look at
yeah.
that. Look at that.
I do like the CSB logo. I think that's a sharp logo.
You think it's masculine enough?
No.
I just
Black
think I
and gold,
like
though.
Yeah, I just think I like it.
I'll tell you, if you want masculine, though, get this mug.
Or
It says manly right on it.
Or
It's got the laser eyes.
get you some Chesterton.
Yeah, there you go.
See, look, there's an example. Chesterton would have been considered an unmanly man because of how he looks. Yet the majority of his work is incredibly focused on getting men to be men.
Yeah.
All right. Tony's giving us his translation choices. Let me ask this to the audience. What is the most manly translation? I already know the answer. I think we all know the answer.
I certainly have an opinion.
Although there's an irony to it, but, we all know the answer.
But do we?
We're all
I'm
thinking King James, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Oh, dang, I was off.
But the
Oh, what were
NASB
you
is
thinking?
probably
I
another
was
one.
thinking clearly the Queen James version. And yes,
Oh,
it exists.
Yeah,
No,
I
you're
know it
right.
does.
And there was the irony is that there are people who will make these false accusations about King James.
Look,
I've done a
he-
video with someone about that before. Yeah.
Even if that was true, though, he didn't have a hand in, translating the Bible. He just commissioned it. So even if those rumors were true, it doesn't affect it.
Right.
That's right. But yeah, I don't know if people are going to put their the message. That was a joke, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
The message gets my vote too, says Sam. Okay. Hey. What about the passion? How come nobody's saying that?
Might be Mike Wanger's favorite, but
Oh.
Oh no, we know that's not true. Mike Winger hates it with a passion. He hates
he
it
does.
with a
But
passion.
there's another example of
Hates it with the
someone,
passion. Sorry.
pun
Hates it
intended.
with the passion.
But there's another example of a guy that's often accused of not being very masculine either.
Oh,
Mike Winger?
oh,
really?
manliest translation. What is Doug? He uses the King James.
King James.
James.
So there you go. Of course. Yeah, but again, he's an intellectual, and I feel like that people that are, those kinds of people that come across that way, they can be looked at as not manly, and I think it's how you're
about
defining it.
Mike Winger?
Mike Winger,
Yeah.
having that very intellectual orientation.
Well-
just even in his, the way he presents.
That's interesting because I think a lot of this just shows you the perception deal. Because
Yeah.
I've never looked at Mike Winger and thought, "Oh, there's a girly man." Like I've
No.
never thought that about him.
No.
But-
No, I think commanding respect there's a lot to be said for that, and you can tell when someone has respect.
Mhm.
And again, you get back to family because the Bible says if someone's going to be a pastor, look at their family,
Mhm.
and you can tell a man who has respect in his family.
I think what doesn't help Winger is I don't think people realize that him and David Wood have like a running gag together. And David Wood is constantly calling Mike Winger a wingaling, a nerd, So a lot of people don't realize David Wood's bantering, and they pick up on that. They're like, yeah, he is nerdy. And it's like, I don't think you get the joke.
Yeah, I saw. What was it? David Wood said something about Mike Winger was taking a break, and he said something about best day of my life and all that. Like, there's this back and forth with them.
It's a long running joke because
Yeah.
it's just that David Wood pretends like Mike Winger's his biggest enemy, but like they've been at dinner and stuff together, they've been at conferences. It's just a wrong running joke, but David
Yeah.
Wood's personality is just like it's such a dry humor that it matches more like an Irish humor at times. That I think a lot of people look at that and go, but he sounds serious because like his critiques are often very barbed, and it's like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just kind of getting sidetracked because someone was talking about their favorite translation being the Revised English Bible. That's not something I hear a lot.
Yeah, this is a guy from my channel. He's an Anglican brother.
Is he from? Where's he from? Do you happen to know?
I don't.
Oh, is
know.
it New Zealand? By any chance?
I don't remember. He may have told me at some point, but
He can tell us if he hears this and wants to tell us what country.
yeah.
Because that's just like not a version I usually hear people bring up. Okay, he's
He
from
says
England.
from England, yeah.
Okay, well, hello in England. Yeah, okay. Well, the Revised English Bible.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's-
But he does say a British version of the... They have a British version of the NLT?
Well, that's
Wow,
what
there
he's
you
saying.
go.
This is.
Yeah. He's saying it's
Oh,
like
I
like the
got
British version.
I missed
Yep.
that. Yes, think more ecumenical, more literary British
Yep.
version of the...
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, got it. Yeah. So, we kind of got a little sidetracked there, but you were saying, Layman, just about how we perceive certain things in cultures and how if you had a child, you wouldn't dress them in pink if
No.
it was a boy.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and that's what's always hard about life is like there are things that you can say are objectively true, but then culture does play a part. I mean, think of how the Bible uses purple.
Mhm.
Yep.
Purple is not a girly color in the Bible.
No.
No.
And
And
yet we
it's-
might associate it a little bit more as feminine nowadays in certain cultures.
Well, and this is an interesting conversation here because that's my oldest son. That is his favorite color. Is purple. He loves purple. He gets purple everything he can, and some kids that have tried to give him a hard time about it, and we've talked about it. And I've just said, son, I don't think purple is a girly color, especially not the way you wear it, the way you go. My son doesn't present himself as being feminine or anything like that.
Yep.
So I'm like, who cares? It's not a girly color. You like it. It's your favorite color. So what?
Yep.
Yep. I think purple, again, it's all how you use it, right? I mean, obviously, if you're there's a lot of flowers, and that sort of thing, you might associate it as being more feminine. But even then, it's not like flowers always are feminine.
No, because that's what I was going to say. Like, that's where a lot of this is cultural.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you exist in a culture where, say, for example, pink flamingo shirts are, you traditionally look at that and go, it's more of a, like, girly design. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be dressed up in a pink flamingo shirt. Why? A, it's going to look weird, and B, I couldn't pull it off. I'm a darker dress color anyway. Like, I do dark denims, I do black shirts. I very rarely wear anything of bright colors, mainly because it doesn't suit my actual skin complexion. Like, I'm quite pasty, so like blacks and stuff. Although a lot of people say blacks make you look more washed out, I don't find that myself. But when it comes down to things like colors, yeah, a lot of it has been culturally defined, but scripture does also deal with that as well. Like, if something, move away from colors, but like if something culturally does start to show itself as being more effeminate or more whatever, yeah, scripture would say men don't associate with that, or vice versa. If something's more masculine, scripture would also be like, okay, women don't associate with this. So when people do the whole, it's cultural, men can wear pink if they want, I ain't gonna stop a dude from wearing a pink shirt if he wants to. But I'll be honest, I would look at that and go, it's a little bit girly. It's just the truth.
And I'll
Doesn't
be
it
honest,
depend who it is, though?
I'll be honest right now. I have a polo that I wear sometimes that's like a salmon pink, and it is, and I like it.
Yeah, but it's not like a bright pink though. But like you would look at and be like, oh, that's a Power Ranger pink. That's what I mean by, like, there's certain colors people can get away with, and certain men can pull off different colors. I just know if I was to wear pink, not only would I think I looked a bit effeminate, but I wouldn't be surprised if other people went, well, yeah, he bats for the other team.
Yeah, and that. Oh, sorry, you caught me off guard with that last comment. And this is interesting. I've had this conversation online, with some people about like hair, how long hair is, and all that. This is such an interesting deal because, of course, we have scripture telling us that doesn't nature tell you that it's a shame for men to have long hair. But you have to ask the question, like, what does that mean culturally? There's clearly like a distinction, and anybody who pushes back against that and says, "Oh, a man has to have a buzz cut," I'm going, sorry, no. Like, what are you gonna do with all these Puritans that we love who had shoulder length hair? Clearly they took the word of God seriously. What does it mean? Well, it's a cultural thing, and in our culture, you can tell when a man has shoulder length hair versus when a man is really trying to be feminine with long hair. You can tell. You could just tell.
You can. Well, I'll not name him because I wouldn't want to do this to him. Not that he would care about it, but I'm sure someone would try and twist against him. One of my best friends is an out-and-out rocker. He has incredibly long hair for a dude, but he's got a big bushy beard. He's well built. He doesn't have tattoos or anything, but he dresses often very much in black. You wouldn't look at him and go, oh yeah, that's a feminine dude just because he has long hair. The idea of this, long hair would have been culturally, they would have had long hair and probably clean shaven and probably, because most people don't know this about the ancient Near East, but men did wear what we would consider today to be makeup. Some of them had like what we would consider eyeliner and stuff. That you would have looked at and went, yeah, that's a dude being feminine. We don't do that. So it's not just a carte blanche, you don't have long hair at all. It's very
Right.
much context dependent. But yeah, we could look at it and go, okay, most men are probably going to stay away from like having excessively long hair.
Right. I'm sorry. I just saw Tony's last comment down there.
Yeah, about where he has
Longer
longer
armpits.
hair.
Longer hair on his armpits than his head. I love you, Tony.
Yeah, Tony, he always has creative input for sure.
Yes, he does.
Uh, so with this design, I think some people the criticism was more just like they thought it really needed like a cross or something like that. I'm not sure specifically what it was that came across as feminine
Well,
about this.
But even with that, if they think it needed a cross or something, he's doing commission work, and maybe
True.
like if this church is just like, hey, we just want it to be like a grapevine.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, is biblical imagery.
Right.
that's true too. Yeah.
But you see,
Yeah.
that's the problem. People, and Colton said this earlier, and it's Tim, you and I have talked about this as well. The church, in a lot of ways, has moved into more. I'm not going to say feminine, but
Feminized.
Yeah, feminized is a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Kind of a movement, because there's this, don't be a toxic male. But you see, here's the issue. A male being a male often just gets accused of being toxic. There is such a thing as actual toxic masculinity. There can be men that are truly toxic, right? But just because a man's got a little bit more fire in his bones, he's passionate, he's maybe not the most politely spoken. I'm not necessarily even talking about swear words, but he's very direct, he's very to the point. People can look at that and go, oh, that's a toxic man. But you don't actually have any scriptural grounds for saying that man's in sin just because he speaks abruptly.
Right.
Now, if he's running around effing and jeffing and, he's insulting people left, right, and centre, yeah, you could look at that and go, that dude's firing full cans of, like, testosterone, doesn't know how to be polite if it hit him across the face. You could say that, but unfortunately, the church today really does do, oh, no, brother, don't do it. You calm it down a little bit. You speak really politely to people, and it's like, Jesus didn't always speak politely to people.
Right.
And then you'll get the whole argument, yeah, but you're not Jesus. But am I called to imitate Jesus?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And Jesus sometimes spoke in a way that would have been very offensive to his hearers.
Right. I think this is a classic case of this, just the pendulum swings that we go through, right? Because a lot of the manliness that you see people wanting to put out there, especially with regard to speech, is, it just becomes unrestrained, and that is a problem. When you have this unrestrained, just aggressive all the time, never knows how to be patient, never knows how to be kind, that's not good. But you're right, brother, and also there's certain churches that will really emphasize the opposite of that, to where you can't be assertive at all without being called a jerk or whatever.
Yep.
And the thing is men are tired of that. Like, we're like, no, like, I'm not in sin because I'm assertive. I'm not in sin because I want to speak plainly. I would be in sin if I were being hateful or if I were being needlessly offensive or rude, but I'm not. That's what men are kind of tired of. And you hear this all the time, that there's balance and nuance, and people hate that, but it's just true. There is, and we have to get back to that.
Yeah, sure. For example, like, it's not that old, so we could address it briefly, but, like, look at the Zachary Garris situation. Some people looked at them and said, I can't believe a pastor spoke like that. But then more people, thankfully, that I saw, like Matt Everhard even addressed it and stuff too, and, like, really graceful, reasoned men looked at that and went, goodness gracious, I would be kicked out of my own church if that was their standards.
Right.
Like, he didn't say anything that was overly offensive. In fact, I wouldn't even say he said anything offensive at all. But however, because it wasn't this, nicey, men aren't nicey. We're called to be nice. We're called to be gentle. But men are not flowery speakers. We can
Right.
sometimes be very blunt. Bluntness is not sin.
Right. Well, and that's, you bring that up because I think even Tim earlier, Tim was talking about how he's like, well, you know, you resonate with Kevin DeYoung or whatever. And that's fair enough, brother. But Tim, I've seen you have no problem being blunt. You have no problem being assertive. And,
Oh yeah. And my
you know-
my kids were talking recently, which I thought was really fascinating about, and probably lots of fathers have heard this sort of thing, like when mom gets mad, they're not that scared. They were telling us this. They brought, like, they were just talking about it. But when dad gets mad, they get scared. Like, it's interesting because
That's how
Yeah.
it should be, though. But because
Yeah.
the thing is, none of your kids would be like, "Oh, we're scared because we know dad's going to, tear the house down
No,
and
no.
halt this." Oh yeah, no, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. That's where I think a lot of people today, because there's this modern idea of not just in Christianity, but there's this modern idea that you can't discipline a child even by being firm in how you
Right.
speak to them. But yet that's exactly what helps people to grow up into respectable young men and women. There has to be a healthy fear of, if I mess up, dad is going to go through me for a shortcut.
Right.
Now, I didn't
There's-
grow up with my dad, but like
Right.
my grandfather, goodness gracious, if my mum or someone would have said to me, "Wait till your grandfather hears about this," I would have been running for the fields.
Yeah.
Not because he was going to belt me or anything, though sometimes you might have got a wooden spoon or whatever, but
Right.
like, he was a manly man. He would have sat me down and he'd be like, "You listen here." And you
Yeah.
could tell by his tone, it was like, if you answer back,
right,
you're going to have to run.
I-
There's
Right.
nothing wrong with that.
right,
and
right.
and young boys need that. He doesn't watch YouTube, so I put him on blast here for a sec. My oldest son, there was one time where I caught him manhandling his sister, like just in a way he shouldn't be. Like he was just being too aggressive.
Yep.
She was screaming for him to stop, and he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told him to go to his room, and typically when I'm feeling upset, I pray before I go talk to him. It's like, Lord, help me. And I sat him down, and I said, "Son, what you just did was cowardly. You were picking on the weak, and you were abusing your strength." And I said, is that the kind of man you want to be? And I mean, he crumbled. He was like, no, I don't. And I told him, I said, what would you think if you ever saw me handling your mother like that? How
That's
would
right.
you feel about me? You wouldn't think I was a good man. You would think I was an abusive, mean man. And so that that conversation still comes up today, where he's like, I want to be a good man, and he brings
That's
it.
good.
They
That's
need to
good.
hear this kind. You can't be all wishy-washy. They're just not
Right.
going to respond to that.
No, because that's a perfect example. Firmness doesn't necessarily mean shouting the house down or slamming things. Firmness can just be very direct speech. Because I'm sure we have all had this. You don't really hear this. At least I don't hear it anymore now. There was nothing worse than angering your parents, and they were no longer angry, but they just hit you with, "I'm just disappointed in you." That was like, "Ooh, okay, right, I know I've crossed the line." Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's an example of firmness. That is firmly telling your child, "Look, I am severely disappointed in you because your actions are not how I raised you." That is what helps shape you. Because if you have a parent that's just constantly, mouthing off at you, or you do get the belt or whatever, you grew up resenting that parent. But when that parent disciplines you appropriately, you know you've crossed the line. You may be angry or annoyed in the moment, like, "Oh, I don't like you," or whatever. But you always come away from that and was like, "They're right."
Absolutely.
Yep, we need that. Yeah, really like what you said there, Colton, about the discussion you had with your son, because I think that's one of the indicators of godly masculinity is we should just have this very protective instinct, especially towards women and toward the vulnerable. Like, that's one of the good uses of actually being a strong person is you can protect people, right?
Yeah. Well, and your younger boys take pride in that, and it's a good thing.
That's right.
Like whenever I leave the house, my son knows, because he's not very old. He's 11, but he's already got more strength than his mother.
Yep.
Yeah.
He knows, like when I leave the house, hey, you're gonna do the man things. If your mom needs help picking up something heavy, you help her. If she, whatever. And they take pride. They want that, and they need that.
They do. They do, and that's why you see a lot more of these books coming out now. Some of them I think go in the extreme manosphere part, but you do have books that are coming out or have been out for a while where, for example, I know not everybody's keen on him, but it doesn't mean everything he puts out is bad. Doug Wilson has a great book on about, men slaying dragons. I forget what it's called or whatever, but he rightly points out men were made to slay dragons, and he's not necessarily meaning like literal dragons. It's this sense of, we know we have an innate ability where we are naturally stronger than women, and there is almost a deep craving in us to use that strength for good. So like Colton, you said, picking up the heavier things or defending, and that's one of the things now where we're seeing in culture. We talked about this a lot before in the channel, Tim. We, and we'll not go into all this right now, but look at that situation with the poor woman, Arena. Not a man in that bus stood up to defend her. Men nowadays don't stand up to protect anymore. Do you know why? They've been taught it's toxic. They've also been taught, if I do stand up, I could go to jail myself. However, if you have to go to jail for defending someone, go to jail.
I do think had there been certain men on that train, they probably would have done it anyway.
Oh yeah.
And I saw a story today of a group of men that rushed toward a burning plane that just went down recently, and they were like, rescuing people, breaking through the window, and they were risking their life to go to this burning plane. So you're right, the culture is not facilitating, it's not encouraging it, it's penalizing it. But again, part of being a man is like, so what, right? So if the culture hates it, if I'm going to risk I'd rather protect that person.
Yep. Right. And that's where men need that discipline, because if you don't have that discipline, I think it's what we begin to see online. Your masculinity boils into performative masculinity. I'm a man because I call you, and I'll not name all the names, but I'll call you every name under the sun. I'll call you effeminate. I'll say this, that, and the other. That to them is still a fight. So they're like, oh yeah, I'm manly because I won that online fight. That's not manly. Anybody could get online and call someone a name, or I won or whatever. Don't get me wrong, sometimes there are times online where maybe you do have to win a fight like that, and I don't mean the name calling, but there's times where I interact with Muslims, and they will go and they'll insult the Lord Jesus. Now, I can point them to a place in their own scripture where Allah commands them and says, do not insult what others believe, because they will therefore insult me, Allah, out of spite. So I often give them the warning. I'm like, if you want to continue insulting Jesus and disrespecting your own book, you will prompt me to insult your prophet and your God. Some of them continue on. I then insult back, which again is not a sin. Sadly, some people think it is a sin, but that's neither here nor there. What often happens then is other Muslims come into the comment and they're like, brother, not me, him. They're like, brother, stop that. You should know not to insult, because they'll insult Allah out of spite. That's an example of sometimes you do have to take those fights online, but you don't go out of your way looking for it. Like, I don't go out of my way to insult the Prophet Muhammad, but if you're going to insult my Lord, and I give you a warning and you don't take that, oh yeah, you will provoke a side of me where I'll fight you.
Yep. So just acknowledge here, we've got some people saying 3-2. I'm guessing that's the World Cup match.
Yeah, it's the World Cup. I was going to say, I like how they're informing us, and we're all like, yeah.
Hey, it's part of the, it's sport. It's sport. It's manly sport.
Manly.
Yeah.
Congratulations. As an American, don't have a lot of interest in.
Well, it's the two Englishmen, so of course they're celebrating it. So celebrate.
No, and there are many Americans who are really into it. So I'm a little tongue in cheek there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially here in Texas, because we have a lot of folks who are, they're Texans through and through, but they're Hispanic, and it's just a part of that Hispanic culture. They are into that stuff. So yeah.
Yep. Yep. I know.
Tony, off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but that sounds right.
And he's asking if it's Quran
Yeah, hang on.
6108.
I say hang on, you guys can continue talking, but I'll find out.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm not very knowledgeable about the World Cup and all of that, but I have been seeing stuff, about different countries
Yeah, it is, Tony.
competing. Okay.
I'm one of those Americans who I agree with my brothers across the pond. I think it's dumb that we call our sport football that you barely kick in the sport.
I agree.
Which I'm
Yeah,
not.
but
I'm also not a big American football fan either. So, but yeah, I'm like.
But you got to watch Nate
between-
Bargatze do his impression of George
Between-
Washington explaining why we do those things.
I've seen them, but the
Okay.
thing is like out of those two sports, there's one of them that I think is more appropriately called football.
Called football, yeah.
Just say that.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
know.
the thing. We say that all the time over here too, and it's not a knock on American football. It's more just the fact one of them is, Colton, as you said, it's played plainly with the feet. The other one involves the hands, the feet, everything. So like calling
think
it
it should-
calling it
The
football.
reason it doesn't matter
Yeah.
is that we don't play soccer that much here.
You
I
mean
mean, I'm
football?
kidding, but
I think
but there's
I
some truth. Like it's very much like a downplayed sport compared to baseball
It's true.
and basketball and our football. Like people, when you say football, people know what you mean because that's what most people are into. Is they're into American football here.
I think American football should just be called tackle ball. That's
Ah.
what happens most of the time.
He just
It
said
is
it's rugby for wimps
Yeah, because we
because
use
we wear pads.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah,
have
but
any
have you
armor
ever
on.
seen the way they hit?
Oh, they hit hard, no doubt. But like
Oh.
rugby lads are vicious. Like,
Yeah.
and they're really
sure.
there's no shoulder protection. There's no helmets. So
Yeah.
when those lads crack heads, they crack heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have seen football players with their leg bent the wrong way, though.
Oh,
So
See that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's why I often I know Tony's joking, but it's always friendly banter when people do that, but it always produces like a natural no, our guys are tougher. No one's saying American football is not tough. I wouldn't want to be hit by any American footballer, and I mean not punched. I mean like hit on the field. I know they're going to drive me halfway across the pitch. But the same's true of rugby lads, and they don't wear armor, so one of them is going to hurt more, and it's the rugby lads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joel said the NFL's trying to popularize American football in Europe. They're also trying to bring MLB games over there, Major League Baseball. He says they've scheduled several games in England over the last. Yeah, I've seen that actually. Yeah, you know what I think is interesting is Japan loves baseball so much. I think that's one of the most interesting things that like
Yeah.
when I think of baseball next to the U.S., you've got Japan. So it's funny how different countries latch on to certain sports.
Well,
But,
you get a lot of good players that come out of Japan that'll come over
sure.
here to play.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then some of the like Dominican Republic is another one where baseball. Cuba is another one. So it's really interesting where baseball has spread. But yeah, and the stuff I said about football or what we call soccer, it is popular here. So I'm not saying there aren't people who don't like it. It's just that
Yeah.
what first comes to
Not
people's
as
minds.
popular.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Colton knows like American football is practically a religion
Oh, yeah.
here.
But that's something though, but that's relevant to what we're discussing, because that's another theme that
Yeah.
you're not manly if you don't like sports. It's like
Right.
really,
Yep.
really, like no, what definition of manliness is that included in?
And if that's the definition, I don't really care about sports.
Oh,
Like,
wait,
then
no,
I'm
that's
not
the
manly.
definition that would actually make me manly because I'm
Right.
really into sports.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
That reaction though just disqualified you. But
Man.
it's true. It's true though. But like for example, move it away from the sports again too. Another thing that I think people view as manly is big beards, tattoos, muscles. One of the most sort of least intimidating people that I could ever point you to. I'll Google his name in a minute because I can't remember how to say his second name, but it's a guy called Mikey, and he looks like an absolute pencil nerd that anybody could break with a flick of their fingers. He is one of the most deadly men on the face of this planet because he is like world class Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert. He would destroy most men in a fight. But the thing is, if you looked at Mikey, you would look at him and go, nerd, I'd break him, no problem. Same thing goes with now Zuckerberg's built up a wee bit more muscle now, but like you used to look at Mark Zuckerberg, he was pasty, he was small. That dude's actually very good at Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well. So there's that idea that, looks determine manliness, and not always.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure. There's that one guy over here everyone always points to. I can't Mike Vinning is his name. Mike Vinning. He was a sergeant major in the Army, and if you pull up a picture of him, I mean, he is the nerdiest looking, doesn't look intimidating at all, but he was one of the most deadly men in the United States military. Like, you don't mess with me kind of guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then, a thought that just came to my mind is how many guys who are really ripped and big, but they I think some of them are very masculine, but they also can have a very soft side to them. Like we talk about the big teddy bears, and we've experienced that. Guys who are like, they're actually really tender guys, even though they present as very like strong and.
Well, ultimately, that's what masculinity is. It's strength under control.
Yeah.
Guys that are constantly posturing and, those are the guys, like, even out in the street, if you've got a guy that's constantly mouthing off about, I'll knock you out, I'll do this, that's the guy that is, he's doing a bear tactic. He is trying to intimidate you by noise and size. That is the guy that is secretly hoping, please don't throw a punch at me. But, like, just for example, I forget how to pronounce his second name, but this is Mikey Musumeci, I forget how to pronounce it, but, like, would you look at that guy and instantly think he could beat the living daylights out of me?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Most people make the mistake of when they see him going to fight, they'll be like, oh, that other opponent will, destroy him. Mikey gets in there and ties guys up like a pretzel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't see his whole body, and that would make a difference in my assessment.
But the thing is, he covers himself a lot because he is very, he presents nerdy, but like, I would also say Mikey's body is a wee bit, like, it's overdone.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like, too muscular, in my opinion. Again, it's down to what individual guys like, but like when you go to Mikey's level and you're pretty much all veins and stuff, I kind of look at that and go, it's not for me. Gents, I'll be back. I just need to run to the bathroom briefly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me get us up here. There we go. All right. So now we can bring up something that we want to say about Layman. We can come up with something that will offend him, and he's not here to defend himself.
I have a hard time doing stuff like that, honestly.
What, coming up with stuff to offend people?
Yeah, just like, I don't know. Even with friends, sometimes it flows out good, where I can get a good burn, but for the most part,
well, I could start talking about Redeem Zoomer. That's what I love to come back to because that usually triggers him.
Yep.
He always says the same thing. He's like, I don't mind him. It's just this is the way he behaves online or something like that. It's
yeah.
Layman is a very polite person, and he never wants to be like totally at enmity with someone. But we all have people that have things that they do that get under our skin.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
Yes, indeed.
So you're going to tell us about who's been getting under your skin?
Oh gosh.
There's conversations happening that I'm sure you feel that way. Like,
Yeah. Oh, you
and
probably
yeah,
you probably know what it's all about as far as where
I'm
my
not
head's
sure
been.
if we're thinking of the same thing.
Well, it's the biggest thing on X right now in reform circles. That's insane.
Bring it
Um,
up. Go ahead.
well, it's just all that stuff with the Ogden, Utah guys.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I think I know what that is. Is this the
yeah,
thing where they had a publisher come to their conference? And the
yeah,
publisher was like pro-Nazi.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like not just, you hear a lot of these guys say, "Well, we're not Nazis and we're not this," and the publisher literally did a live chat after the event and was like, "Yeah, I am that." Like just I'm 100% that.
Right. And then
Yep.
they had to like do like some kind of PR cleanup because
If you want to call it that.
I'm talking
I
about
don't
the
know.
Ogden guys, right?
Yeah, that's
They
what I
had to do
mean.
like a video to explain.
They attempted to.
They attempted
Uh,
to. Okay. Not to your satisfaction.
not to a lot of people's.
No. Uh,
And it kind of fits in. We don't have to keep talking about this because honestly, I don't want to go off on it because I could.
no, I said something that
Um,
gets under your skin, so
Yeah, this is one of those things because it gets under my skin because of the
does,
influence
yeah.
these kinds of people have
Yeah.
over young men that I care
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
just going back to the masculinity topic and we don't have to dive into all that garbage right now, but
Mhm.
taking responsibility when you screw up
Yep.
is a big part of being a man, a big part of being a godly man, and
Hmm.
taking it seriously.
Hmm.
That's an issue that I think we've all had to learn that, because our
Hmm.
sin nature is to want to deflect, like
Yeah.
Adam, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the woman you gave me,
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
our sin nature to want to deflect instead of take responsibility over the spheres that God has given us. So I think that fits in with the topic.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to confess I'm out of the loop here. My timeline is not that. It's mainly Islam. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it is really frustrating what happened there. There's that line with the whole like new Christian right kind of guys that they just keep pushing and pushing and even I've tried to be more charitable recently and give more benefit of the doubt to some of these things but man, they just keep going in this weird direction
Yep.
that I don't get it. Like,
I think with a lot of those things, like, and I'll not even mention that group in particular because, like, I'll be honest, I don't really follow them. I don't really know much about them.
yeah,
But for me, I think with a lot of those things, like even when you go back to the young restless reform movement too, there's always a how far can we push it before it hits sin,
yep,
and uh, I think it's just, and I'm not excusing it. I think it's just human nature. It's that overcorrection of the church has been so feminized. How
hmm
can we be more manly? And that manliness always comes out. And how far can I take this right up until the line? And maybe in some cases cross it, but
yep,
still justify it.
oh yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
I wonder
sure.
if it does tie a little bit in, because I think with our political conversations, and maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but I do think that the left has an egalitarian disposition. And I'm not just talking about male female, I'm just talking about this idea of equality, like that we all share our resources. It does have this very like feminine vibe to it, like because that's what
hmm
mothers would want to do, right? Like, let's
Yeah,
just all divvy out
yeah,
our resources and like let's be fair and all of that. And there's a good side to that, but that's how
right.
I tend to see like, and our culture really has that emphasis a lot of times. And I can see how like people would take fascism as being like associated with hierarchy and masculinity. And I can see, like the draw there for some people because they want to pull
hmm
away from the egalitarianism and the equity emphasis.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Right.
in certain cases, and again, I wouldn't go that far over to that position, but one of my big pushbacks, and I don't even mean with you, I mean like towards the actual leftists, one of my big pushbacks would be, but God does favor some more than others. There's nothing inherently wrong with one man taking more dominion than another man. But that often gets pushed then to the extreme of like, well, survival of the fittest, basically. Like, let me be the most masculine man and dominate every other man. But
Right.
scripture is, whenever it comes to things like that, I think people have this wrong understanding because they'll appeal to passages in Acts where, they all brought their belongings to the disciples' feet and shared everything. That was shared as in, let's bless the poor as well as, the rich that have enough, they can help feed the poor. That's great. That's what Christians should be doing.
Right.
But even within that same passage, Peter says to Ananias and Sapphira, he's like, did the field not still belong to you? Meaning you didn't have to sell that. It wasn't commanded for you to sell it. That was supposed to be brought of your own free will. You are the one that hid back and you lied to the Holy Spirit. Because I can't tell you, even on videos that are not related, I always get people commenting with that exact same thing. Christians are meant to share everything in common. They're not supposed to have personal possessions. And I'm like, that's the most idiotic take you could take in Scripture. Well, not the most, but one off.
I do want to just acknowledge what Tony said here. Hang on, I'm egalitarian, but not a lefty. No, and I wouldn't accuse you just because you have some egalitarian views of being a leftist. I'm just broadly painting the picture, at least in America, of how people think of these things and how they might. And I guess it's true, like American culture. I'm gonna be. I was thinking about this when we were talking earlier too. Like, having grown up at the end of Gen X, I remember when we were not so risk averse. You could ride. I used to ride in the van with, friends, and we didn't have to wear seatbelts. We could basically run around in the back, or you could ride in the back of a pickup truck. You could ride your bike without a helmet and pads. So anyway, I think the culture has become very risk averse and very safety oriented. And with that, politically, there's also this idea of protecting people, and so that's the kind of egalitarian thing I'm talking about, where you never want anybody to ever feel at risk. You never want anybody. And I don't think, Tony, you would take it to that extent. But what's happening is a lot of young men are fed up with it, and they're like, we do not want that. We want to be the opposite.
Right. Yep.
So we're bringing back He-Man, and he was popular when I was young. So,
well, the new movie's coming out.
That's right.
But before we move on that, the other thing I would say is, but it's also just dishonest, because if you move that purely into money, a lot of people on X recently were beyond livid that Elon Musk's personal wealth has now hit trillionaire status, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how dare Elon Musk have $1 trillion or whatever it is, like that should be spread out, blah, 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 blah. See, every single person saying that, if they were the trillionaire, they would not hold that position. And that's my biggest complaint against people like that. They're all for equality when it benefits them. When it would work against them, oh, no, I earned this money. I shouldn't have to give it away.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's also just a difference, and this is political, like, what are the mechanisms that you would use to take the wealth and help others with it? And what Elon is doing is using private endeavors in order to benefit humanity, from his perspective, to benefit humanity. I don't always agree with what he thinks humanity needs, but I don't know that we need to go to Mars. But a lot of these people are saying it's the government, and that people like Elon Musk basically should give all their money to the government, who should then give it to other people. And if you're reading the Bible, like if you believe the Bible, it's a stretch. It's a big stretch to say that the Bible is telling us that we need to take, all these riches and distribute it through high taxes.
It's also a big stretch to assume the government would actually distribute that money to other people.
Yeah, they've proven themselves incapable.
Well, I was going to
Yeah.
say they already don't. Like your
Yeah.
tax
Yeah.
dollars don't often go to what your tax dollars should go
No,
to.
that's right.
Right.
There's a lot of
Right.
fraud for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Whereas businesses may engage in fraud, but that's where the government is helpful, because the government can hold businesses accountable and make sure that they're being legal in the way that they handle money.
Well, apart from the Leering centers.
I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah. Okay.
You don't remember the Leering centers?
No, but you're right. It took time for the corrective to take place. That's a good use of media, right? Media, when it's doing its job, holds the government accountable. And makes sure
It
that the
does, but
government-
I was being a little bit facetious too, because
Yeah.
the UK, or my government, the UK government, they are still financially propping up a lot of those Leering centers over here.
Well, Americans are big on checks and balances, so you can kind of hear me voicing that. Like, I'm a huge believer in humans need checks and balances, because we all, if we have power and we have resources, we can all use them in selfish ways and unethical ways.
All I can say is, Tim, you're going to be down a subscriber by the end of this episode.
Yeah.
NC Anime Manga is going to have the police at his door in a minute.
Why is that?
Because he's speaking against the UK government. I'm sick of being taxed to the rafters by
I
the
think
British
I'm
state
gaining
that detests me.
these subscribers. I think the things I'm saying, these guys agree with me.
Oh, they agree. I'm just saying
Yeah.
he's gonna have the government at his door in a minute.
You guys don't have those checks and balances, so you get kicked
No,
off of
we
YouTube.
currently have an incompetent man in charge.
Well, Colton and I were talking before we went on about how, like, in both of our states, we have open carry, which means, like, in our churches, we do have people with guns.
Mm-hmm.
And our states are totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different environment.
Now, Tony, if you want to give your money to not a TV evangelist, but if you want to give your money to a YouTube apologist, I'll gladly accept my first mention.
The Layman televangel apologist. I don't know if we can come up with a good name.
Yeah, no.
Just sow a seed. Just sow a
Just
seed.
sow a seed. Sow a seed, and we'll send you a mug.
I mean, yeah, if you go to the website, yeah, but no.
Okay. That's how you can sow seeds, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've exhausted the topics we were planning to cover today. Colton's looking a little tired there too. We don't want to.
Oh, I'm
Are
fine,
you okay?
brother. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good until I got like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's about
That's
what
normally when we log off anyway.
That's when. So if anybody wants us to keep talking and wants to ask us something, feel free to do that.
Yes, I was going to say now's your chance to actually do a Q&A if you want a 20-minute Q&A.
Yeah. I guess the only thing while we're waiting, if anybody has questions, is I have another excuse to show off. I told you I'm going to Canada, and one of the most renowned rebinders is in Canada. It's the Lion and Lamb rebinds.
Oh, nice.
And something I was thinking about earlier when we were talking is how, like, people in, they think of beauty as being, like, feminine, but I really think that it's all how you it's how you show that beauty. Because when Josh Barzon made that design that we were looking at earlier, I didn't take that. Just because it's a pretty design doesn't necessarily mean it's feminine. And I think people need to differentiate those things. Because look at these Bibles. I mean, they're gorgeous. But that's not a girly looking Bible, in my opinion, at all. So things can be beautiful. And I mean, look at craftsmanship. Look at things people build with wood that men build with their hands. And it's gorgeous. So I think masculinity can produce super beautiful things. So we
Not
need to be
even-
careful, right?
Yeah. Not even masculinity. beauty has always been at the heartbeat of Christianity. It's why we have produced beautiful
True.
church buildings, beautiful
I'm
works
only
of art.
saying though, when you see pretty things, don't just go in your head. If it's pretty, that's the church being feminine, right? Like that's not being feminine just because we have beautiful
No.
things.
No, but that's the point I was making. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know when it'll be out because I have an editor now. Praise the Lord. But he will be uploading a ton of videos now over the next couple of months, and one of them is on the idea of beauty within Christianity. So
Ah, nice.
yeah,
So Tony is asking if I saw the Iron Brew advert that he sent. I didn't, and I don't know why I missed it. If you want to put a link to something in the chat there, hopefully it'll show up. If
I
there's
was gonna
something you want
say,
us to look
yeah,
at.
you can't do links. Remember?
Oh, try sending it on Facebook, and I'll try to keep an eye on that. I didn't see an Iron Brew. I know that'll make Layman happy. Big Iron Brew fan. Is that a very masculine drink, would you say? For sure.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. Iron Brew is traditionally presented as more of a male drink.
Oh,
You
that's
would-
right.
Yeah,
That's
you
probably
would-
what he's referring to, right? You said that it's one of those kind of the funny ads where they would talk about it being for men.
Well, yeah, the biggest one we talked about was the Yorkie bar. Its line used to be "It's not for girls." Then they did away with that because it was considered rude. But now they're trying to bring it back. But the thing is, people
What's that called?
Yorkie.
Yorkie.
Yeah. Now they're trying to bring that back, but it's kind of similar to what happened with the whole Bud Light thing. Now the audience are like, "No, you went woke. We have no interest in you." So
Yeah.
How do you spell that? Yorkie.
York, i.e.
Okay. Yorkie bar, and it's not for women. Is that what was
It's
that?
not for girls.
Oh, not for girls. Okay. I can pull up that ad. Oh boy.
That's if it's
Now, are
even
these
still online.
appropriate?
I was going to say that's if it's even still online, because the way things are nowadays, it's probably considered hate speech.
I think I found one. Let me get it ready. Okay. Okay, it looks like there's a woman who's got a mustache on, but this is back when that was a joke,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay.
Tony says he did send it to you on Facebook.
Okay, I'll look again, Tony, but I'm gonna show the Yorkie bar ad here. Okay. Sorry. Let me just trying to get it in the best. I don't want weird ads popping up and stuff, you know.
Yorkie, please, mate.
You're not a bird, are you?
No.
Explain the offside rule then.
A player cannot be in an advanced position of the opponent's last defender when the ball is played.
Open that. Stockings are tight.
Stockings.
Oh look! A big hairy spider! You know, that wrapper really brings out the beautiful blue of your eyes.
Really?
Yorkie, 5 big masculine chunks of chocolate. It's not for girls. Yorkie.
That's awesome.
Yep. I mean, that's what we
It's a
used
thumbs
to
up
have.
from Colton.
Yeah, that's
That's
funny.
what we used
I
to
mean,
have, but nowadays, oh no, that's considered offensive.
I couldn't understand all of it. What was he saying at the beginning? There was some.
Something
Yeah.
about it was football stuff, right?
Yeah, well, he
Oh,
asked to explain the offside rule, and then he says, "You're not a bird, are you? A bird in Scotland or the UK in general, a bird would be a chick, a woman, a hen."
Oh, thank you. I needed that interpretation. Yeah.
And then the other thing that we lost, which I shared with you before, is we used to have a big box of like, you know, what Kleenex tissues. You guys have Kleenex tissues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we used to have a brand called the Mankerchief. That got put away too because that was sexist.
The mankerchief.
Mm-hmm. They were really big, oversized, like Kleenex-sized tissues.
All right,
Man.
I'm looking, Tony,
kinda want-
on
I kinda want some
Facebook. I don't
handkerchiefs
see
now.
anything.
We all do, Colton, but sadly
Yeah.
they got put away out of being sexist. So you know.
Oh.
Like, that's the thing, like, if people truly get offended over stuff like that, I honestly have to wonder, like, were you not bullied as a child?
Yeah. Right.
I guess I have to look up the mankerchief. ad now.
I don't know if they had an ad.
They didn't have an ad?
I don't think so. Not that I would be aware of, but it was Kleenex. Kleenex was the overall brand, and then for a period, and it was either the late 90s or early thousands, they did it like a mankerchief, which was like an XL size box for men.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we've changed a lot. Okay, there's something from 7 years ago, but I don't know. Huh. I don't think that's...
Well, while you're looking for that, audience, you have about 10, 12 minutes if you want to get any Q&As in, so feel free.
Oh, it's just a news report.
Yeah, no.
You don't want to watch a news report about it?
No, I mean, that's probably not it. Like, as I say, I don't think they would have had
No,
an
I think it is. I think...
Oh, is it?
I'll show you.
Yeah.
I think they're talking about that.
Okay.
Does that look like what you're talking about?
Okay, right. That's similar, but ours were called mankerchiefs.
Okay. Nope, we didn't have anything that creative here.
Right.
I don't see anything, and I don't know why I'm not getting...
From Tony?
Yeah. I wish I could find it.
Trying to think of some of the things. I can't think of any, like, particularly, like, things that we don't have anymore, other than maybe candy cigarettes. That used to be a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, my pawpaw smoked cigarettes, so anytime we'd go to the store, I would always get a pack of candy cigarettes so I could have a cigarette with him. You know,
They still exist here too, but they're named something different. I think they're called candy sticks or something.
yeah, it's the same over here. You can still get them, but like they used to be everywhere at every convenience store, and you have to really look for them now.
Did you guys used to get like collectible cards in them too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, here's a question for the two Bible reviewers. Favorite underrated study Bibles?
Underrated study Bibles. That's right. From NZ Anime Manga.
Yeah.
The Jonathan Edwards, since nobody has it except for you, that's kind of underrated right now.
I think there's a lot of hype surrounding it, so I don't know.
So it's not underrated, yeah.
I would say I'm trying to think of one I actually. Some people wouldn't say this is underrated because it, but I think it is because it's only in the KJV. But the Reformation Heritage study Bible is fantastic, especially the fact that it has the family worship thoughts after every chapter built in.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible, and even if it's not you're not using it for family worship, just as a reflection on what you just read is incredibly helpful. So
great articles in there too, and they also have. To be fair, it's only one page each, otherwise it would be massive, but they give you an overview over every century of church history as well. So
yes. Yeah, lots of good extra stuff in the back. I'm trying, you were making a joke. I don't have any persuasive powers other than I am trying to connect Philip Nation with Reformation Heritage Books to see if we can get a New King James version of this, because I think it would change the game for a lot of people. As much as I love the KJV, there's a lot of people who just aren't comfortable reading it still. So to have something in a more modern language that's based on the same underlying manuscripts, I think would be fantastic. So the Reformation Heritage Study Bibles would be my pick.
Tony, I think he was... Oh, did it... Oh, no, there it is. Tony said the CEB Wesley Study Bible. He's our token Wesleyan, so he has to... he's required to say that.
Well, it's fairly underrated because I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, that's just
Tony
it. Like,
often tells
Yep.
me of things like that I didn't know existed.
yeah, he was actually looking up something. I don't know if he was looking at it in the study Bible, but I remember him bringing up what Wesley had to say about a certain topic. So, yeah, that's the thing is like, I feel like your own theological background is going to kind of predispose you to expose you even to certain ones and not others. Like I had a Orthodox person give me an Orthodox study Bible. That's how I got one, because of an Orthodox person, you know. So, and it was interesting to read from that, but it's not one I would hold, you know, like I would use it a lot because I just don't agree with a lot of the notes in there. That's just me, you know. But as far as underrated, that's tough. I really don't know, because the ones I like tend to be pretty, you know,
Pretty well known.
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't really, as you all know, I don't really like study Bibles, so there's no point me giving an opinion.
Yeah. I think one, I mean, it's underrated is the hard part here. But one that I think is good is the ESV journaling study Bible that they put out. For people like me who like to write notes in their Bible, it's really handy to have, you basically have the concise study notes in there, so they're not as big or extensive as like the ESV study Bible. But you have really big 2-inch margins to write your own notes, which I think is a really cool idea. So shout out to that one.
Oh, and Tony had a couple CSB ones, the ancient, and that one I have looked at, and that is a cool one. Yeah,
Tony, that's actually a legit pick. I have one of those too,
Yeah.
and I wish I had thought of that because that is a great one.
Thank you. That's the one I should have said. But he mentioned the Apologetic Study Bible. I think that one though is super popular. I mean, I've heard a lot about it. That's Layman's favorite. He's just not allowed to say it because.
Oh no, I had the original HCSB Apologetic Study Bible.
That's cool. Now, Sean was asking, did you guys ever discuss Layman's position on Revelation?
No,
we didn't
'cause
do like a
three of
whole
us,
episode. We didn't do a whole episode devoted to eschatology.
No, but didn't we not decide the three of us were going to do
Maybe
a show on it?
it's at some point talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do hold to like
Sorry, I'm off camera.
3 different positions of eschatology, so that would kind of make it interesting because I'm premillennial, and then Colton, you're amillennial, and then we've got
Layman's
post.
I'm the correct version, yeah.
I like how the order we're in too, because I'm pre over here. We got the millennial in the middle and the post millennial
So
over there.
I would like to think of it as Tim is glass half empty, Layman is glass half full, and I'm drinking the glass.
I thought you were gonna say there is no glass.
No,
Okay.
I'm drinking it. Because that's the biggest misconception about the Amil position is that there is no millennium.
That's right.
And we would say, no, we believe Christ is reigning in heaven now and through his church on earth.
I'm surprised.
So
I'm surprised you even let people call you amillennial, because I mean that's what the word means. It's like without millennium, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, it's unfortunate. It's what's been tagged onto it.
I know. Yeah.
But
was it a premillennialist who came up with that?
Who knows? Who knows? I know it wasn't Augustine who came up with the title. So,
Joel, I hear you saying you're dispensational, and I lean that way too. I think that's a position that's becoming increasingly criticized, and sometimes rightfully so, but I think also sometimes because of certain cultural trends that are taking place right now too, that are feeding in. There's quite a bit of anti-Jewish sentiment in that.
Yes.
That definitely even adds to some of the bitterness towards dispensationalism. But I'm with you, Joel.
I wanted to give a shout out to a dispy that I follow, who I've enjoyed following, and he's from here in Texas. Dr. Michael Svigel. He's a professor at DTS. Great follow on X if you have an X account. But he would represent the more progressive dispensationalism position. But he's very. Let me just say this: he's a very good guy to follow if you want to understand more about where these guys are coming from, and you don't have this weird hatred towards dispensationalism. Maybe follow them anyway so you can understand it better, but yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said there, but thanks for bringing that up, Sean. And it is something that we may perhaps get to. Also, we have more Bible studies. Tony's bringing up the Baker Illustrated, and I've seen people talking about that recently. So maybe they have a new edition or, like a new printing of it that came out recently. The ESV Literary Study Bible, that I have heard of, and that's a good, that I would think might be underrated.
Yeah.
And then Tony said the Cultural Background Study Bible. I'm not
familiar
really
with that one.
familiar with that one. I'll tell you, I hope I would imagine if Tony's recommending it's a good one. Some of you know this, like Nelson prints this chronological study Bible. It sounds fine. Like it doesn't sound like but man, the notes in that, whoa, they're not good. So you kind of have to be careful.
In what way not good? Like bad theology, or?
It's when you get into some of these cultural, these Bibles that try to tell you the culture, sometimes they're undermining biblical authority itself because the scholarship behind them. And Tony's a solid guy, so I think that's probably a good one he recommended. But I know some of those cultural, again, the Chronological Study Bible. If you ever watch my review, you'll hear me like kind of, tell people I'm not really a fan of it, which is very unusual because Nelson usually is great. So I kind of hope they'll get rid of that or change the notes. Just my strong opinion. But that's the thing about study Bibles.
Their opinions.
Yeah, and you could think that you can trust them because it's a study Bible, but you never know.
That's why over the years, like I have nothing against anybody using a study Bible. Just I haven't used them in years because, to be honest, I would rather dig into the text and do my own research rather than rely on what someone says about a verse or whatever. And even then, my biggest gripe sometimes about study Bibles is you may have a passage that you're like, I really want some commentary on this. You go to it, nothing there.
Yep. Yeah, that's honestly, even in Tim, I don't know if you're this way too, but even as a pastor who's preparing sermons every week, when I'm trying to really dig into a text and want to see what other people have said my process is I want to do my due diligence first.
Yeah.
And get everything out of it I can. And then I'll go. But I typically don't go to study Bibles because of that issue. A lot of times the particular passage that I'm interested in zooming in on, there's not anything. But you have to go to a good commentary or something like that to find anything.
The exception to that, one of them would be the ESV Study Bible because, and I'm not saying they get into every nitty gritty thing, but for a study Bible, they will tell you some, theological. They'll get into some of those theological discussions and give you some of the different points of view. Someone mentioned the Ignatius Catholic Study Bible is one they're interested in as an Anglican.
I'm interested in that as a Baptist, just because I want to know more about what's in it. Ongoing dialogue with some Catholic friends, so it's just.
I say it all the time on here as well, Colton. I'd be very careful who I told to get it, but for people that want to research what others believe, like I have an Orthodox Study Bible, I have a Catholic Study Bible. I think it's good to read them, but yeah, I'd be careful who I recommended it to.
He also said the Connecting Scripture New Testament. Yep, that I think.
That's on fire right now, man.
Everyone's
talking about
I think
that.
everybody is, and rightfully so. It serves a really good purpose, and I don't know, did the Old Testament, I'm not sure that's quite come out yet, but they're okay. Yeah, they are planning to bring out the Old Testament, which will be really good too. And then Orthodox Philip, great to see you. He said he benefits. You're absolutely right. Anytime people ask a question on a Bible group and they're like, why did this translation translate it this way? And they're like scratching their head. Just go to the NET full notes, and you can go on Bible Gateway and look at the NET. go to the notes, and they often will tell you exactly why translators had to make a decision, even, regardless of what they ended up putting in the text. The notes will tell you what the challenges are.
Even better,
It's
sorry, go ahead,
Go ahead,
Colton.
brother.
I was just going to say, even better, don't go to Bible Gateway for it. Go to NET's own site. It's the software I use for my Greek. Their notes on there's full-fledged for the NET, so go check that out.
Yeah. And then the
What were you gonna say,
keywords.
Colton?
No, I
Oh,
was just
by the
gonna-
way, before I'm sorry. Since I brought up Orthodox Philip, I wanted to quickly mention I've been hearing that new Bible that you were talking about, and I always forget the name of it. I think it's out now.
It's
So
the New Rome Translation.
surprisingly,
It's really
Colton
nice.
doesn't already have it because he's the one who gets everything first. I think Tim Nichols though,
Yeah.
right? So I'd love for you to come on Orthodox Philip and
I don't
give
think
us
he has
ins-
his yet either, though, because his review's not up. I actually saw a review from a random
How do
channel
they not
about it.
send it to you first? I mean, he should be the guy to review it. All right. Well, anyway, when you do get it, Orthodox Philip, I'd love to have you on to talk about it. And Tim Nichols is going to be coming on in a couple weeks. I was just talking to him, so who knows? Maybe we could get both of them on to talk about it.
Sure. Just before you continue, Colton, you were going to say something, though.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna praise the NET's notes. That's all. I mean, I think it's an invaluable resource. It's good. That's it.
Just backing up what Orthodox Philip said. And then the keyword study Bible. That is another one.
I don't have it
Well,
anymore, but if you're someone that regularly wants to go to the Greek or the Hebrew, the AMG, because you get that in multiple translations, big thick boy, but fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
I
you
think
can just download the literal word app.
there you go. That's what I was going to say. It depends on
Not
who
a
you
sponsor.
are, because there are
Yeah.
people who really like to do things manually. But for me, if I'm going to be looking up stuff, that's when I like the computer. So I use Blue Letter Bible, the literal word app, all those things where you can just at the click of a button look at the Greek behind it or the Hebrew behind it.
Yep.
Did I miss any? Oh man, people are throwing out all different study Bibles. I might have missed one, but the Adrian Rogers Legacy Bible. It's an NKJV, so that's a bonus, right, Colton?
Yeah. Yeah. He's I mean,
Jonathan.
I would definitely differ from Dr. Rogers theologically, but he is a legendary Baptist. I mean, a guy of legend in the Southern Baptist Convention.
Okay.
Yep.
And Tony did also follow up and say that it's mostly Walton and Keener that do the. And I'm not super familiar with both. I think I've read some of Walton. Okay.
I was going to say, Jonathan's comment there's kind of what happened to me many years ago, so he might end up where I am.
Yeah. Okay, and then Tony also says the worst Bible he ever saw was the Tara Lay Cobble one.
Don't know what that
I haven't
is.
heard of that. I mean, that might be underrated, but for good reason.
Yeah.
Keep it low rated.
Well, there's
All right.
there's
Gentlemen,
the Peter.
I'm going to have to head out.
Yes.
Sounds good.
But it's good hanging
We are
out with you
too.
brothers.
Yeah, thanks so much, Colton.
Yep. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Well, there we go.
Yeah, Philip says he hasn't got his yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, Nichols is such a regular reviewer of Bibles that he's very proactive in getting copies. I know he
Yeah.
is. So I think that's why he was able to get one. I think that's the one though that he reviewed. So when he comes on in a couple weeks, we can ask him about it. But I really want to get
Yeah, well, he
Orthodox
says he'll be
Phillips.
happy to come on whenever he gets it. So
Yeah. I hope you get it soon.
July, he said, roughly.
Oh man, Nichols did the Colton thing. He got like this super early review copy.
Yeah, well, whoever that reviewer never appeared in my, because I don't even get that. My YouTube timeline doesn't even do Bible reviews anymore, so I have got no idea why it showed up, but it did. NZ Anime Manga's gonna head out too. That's okay, bro. We're all heading out now
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, and I always feel bad because I get to see the numbers on this end, and they always get higher and higher the longer we go. But we've been going for 2 hours, and
I need to get
we do
some
have
food.
we do have to wrap it up here. So I hope everybody who's watching, if you're able to make it back next week, we're going to be back. We don't have anybody scheduled yet as a guest. We may have a guest, but we will definitely be talking about church issues, theological issues related to church and culture. And it was good talking about a lot of different things and hearing your questions today. Anything you wanted to mention before we head out there, Layman? Yeah, we've already.
If you want to plug your merch again, so people can support you.
Yeah. Okay. If I can find the tab that I had it on, and then also your.
Really simple. If Tim's going on a mission trip in August,
That's right.
October?
No. October.
October.
Yeah.
So if you go to my web store, you don't need the exact link. Just type the Layman Apologist fourth wall. That will bring you to my shop. It's also linked in nearly every single one of my social medias. Type in "Do Ye Manly." This is the merch that will be supporting Tim for his mission trip. So any profit that's made from it will go directly to Tim. If you buy these 3 items together, you get a discount on them versus buying them separately. So
And we do have another version of this coming
it just needs to be uploaded.
that will not have the laser eyes, in case people would prefer the non-laser eyed version of John Wycliffe.
Yep.
And then we also talked earlier too about Layman's newest book, and that also is for sale on the website there.
Yeah, that's the ebook, not the physical
That's the
book.
ebook. So the physical book, get it on Amazon?
Yep, on Amazon, yep. We are now in very surprising numbers, which I never expected. I didn't know this till a friend messaged me. We're in the top 500 odd of like Christian education, top 200 of church history, which is fascinating. And overall, the book's performing really well. But if you've bought a copy, please go and leave a review on Amazon, because that's actually what helps a lot more than just the sale of the book. So
Yeah, for a book that's self-published, it's doing really well.
yeah, the numbers surprised me. Like,
yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, praise the
and-
Lord, but like I was genuinely shocked.
Yeah, and it's a topic that a lot of people haven't read a lot about. You know, we hear the term Trinity, but we haven't necessarily read any detailed explanations of it and arguments supporting it.
Yeah, but the biggest part is the second part, answering the logical problem, because that is the thing that Muslims are running online at the minute, and they are tripping a lot of well-intentioned Christians up who do not know how to articulate the doctrine of the Trinity. They know what they believe, they just can't articulate it very well. So this book is not meant to be like an in-depth giving you every aspect of the Trinity, but it's going to give you enough of a foundation that I would say, and I know I'm biased, but it will give you enough of a foundation that you can accurately talk about the Trinity without falling into heresy.
Yes, and it really, like you said, with the conversations going on, there are people who come up with these logical issues, and you're really showing the way that we need to think through this biblically in order to be able to to be able to defend against those logical problems.
Yeah, because at its most fundamental level, the LPT is not actually a logical problem. Now, someone could still argue that it's a metaphysical problem, but that's a completely different conversation. And even then, it's not a metaphysical problem. But if you were going to accurately describe it, you would have to say it's a metaphysical problem and not a logical problem. So The reason why the book is this way is I actually start you off with a logical problem to make you purposely uncomfortable. Because if you don't know how to defend it, the idea is for you to realize, oh, there's an issue, I need to know how to defend it. And the reason why you will eventually run into this is Muslims are becoming quite skilled in using the LBT against unwilling Christians. So you need to know how to accurately defend and articulate this.
And there are more and more Muslims in certain parts of the world that are coming into the West. I know, like, not so much right where I live, but I think you probably see that.
Oh, a lot.
So yeah, so it's become very, very pertinent to what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, and thank all of you for watching again and being with us. And the numbers keep getting higher here, but we do have to go now. So thank you so much. Yes, go buy the book, buy the mugs, and merch that says "Do You Manly" to help support the mission trip to Ecuador. And we'll see you again next week.
Yep. God bless.